Okay, all right, guys. Welcome to all of you. We may have some more folks joining as we get started, but because we are covering so many great recipes today, I want to give Chef as much time as possible to share with us. So we're in the right place here for culinary medicine. If you're new to Teams, just a reminder, please, close off your camera and mute your microphone so that we have all of the attention is over on Chef. If you do have questions as we go through, you can put them into the chat. So just want to make sure that you're familiar with where that chat feature is so you can access it easily. If you have any questions, please let us know. And if you're new to this today, we just want to welcome you. My name is Heather Charles. I'm a wellness coach over on Maui. We got Allison, she's over on the Big Island, and we have Chef Alyssa over on Oahu. So we are well represented across the Hawaiian Islands, and we're really grateful to have Chef here. She's been a personal chef for over 25 years with lots of experience. She brings us so many fantastic recipes and just reminds us that healthy eating can taste good. We don't have to sacrifice flavor in order to have healthy recipes. So grateful for that. And then we're all here because this is about plant-based styles of eating. And so what does that mean? What is this whole food plant-based diet and why is it important? Well, it helps to cut our carbon footprint in half, which is, a positive for a lot of us, and it helps to reverse and prevent chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes and coronary artery disease. Um, the evidence continues to stack up in the favor of promoting this type of eating style. And it's a little bit of a spectrum, it doesn't mean you have to go 100% plant-based in day one. You can kind of ease yourself into it, familiarize yourself with it. And that's why we're here, is to help to encourage you and introduce you to some ideas along the way. But what is a whole food plant-based diet? Well, it's foods in its most natural form, so closest to the way that it was grown, so less processed foods, and includes foods such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds, minimizing the processed foods, refined sugars, white flour, and any animal-derived foods. And one way to simplify it is the statement you hear on the screen: eat food, not too much, and mostly plants. And that phrase was coined by Michael Pollan. He's an American author and journalist. He's written several books about food and health, and that's really a simple phrase to follow with that. Now, most people know that vegetables are good for us, but we don't eat a lot of them. And a major barrier to that has been that their foods are kind of seen as being a chore to eat, right? They're not something you look forward to eating. So we're hoping to open up this experience to you during this class, and hopefully you can find them flavorful and exciting. So if you want to learn more about this style, I'm going to put in the chat a video series done by Stanford School of Medicine. It was done in
Just did it for
2016.
you.
Thank you, Allison, called Food and Health. So we strongly encourage you to check this out. It's a series of 17 videos. They're short, like 3 to 5 minutes. They give you really practical skills and information on why and how to eat healthier. So let's move on here. You got a couple handouts in your email for this class. Just want to draw your attention to this one, which is the healthy plate. So we encourage everybody to look at your plate, have it be 9 inches. If you want to measure that, that's one step you can take, and aim for half of that plate to be vegetables, just like you have on the screen here. And then the other fourth would be a protein. And this class, we're focusing on plant-based proteins. So that might be, beans or legumes or tofu or tempeh. And then that other fourth of the plate should be a whole grain starch, which is another thing we're focusing on. Um, if that's a lot to remember, just remember you want your plate to be colorful. If you see a lot of color on your plate looking back at you, you know you're moving in the right direction. And if you want to learn more about this, we have a separate class called The Healthy Plate. So you can join that. A registered dietitian teaches it. It's a 90-minute class, fantastic. Just helps you to kind of get out of the mental barriers and think about, what are the variations that I could do with this to make it satisfying to me? Okay, with that, we're going to start to get into our recipes. Before we do that, just a reminder that your email invitation that you used to join today has a link to access the recipes that we are going to be covering. I'm going to put them up on the screen in a minute. So if you didn't get them, feel free to take a screenshot with your phone. But again, the link would be in the email that you used to join today. Also, just want to acknowledge that there's a range of people attending tonight. Some of you, this might be your very first time. You're just thinking, what is this whole food plant-based and how do I get a vegetable in? And there's other of you that, you've been on this path for a while and you're refining it, maybe just adding more resources or knowledge. So just know that these recipes can be adaptable to your personal taste and preferences. As we go through, feel free to put into the chat any questions. We're going to look for those opportunities to ask them of Chef and give you some substitutions if needed. And, we hope you'll be inspired and prioritize home cooking more often and share this with your loved ones and your family. So here again is just a quick screenshot on what you want to be looking for those links to the recipes in your email. And did I miss anything, Allison? I kind of feel like we went over everything. And then with that, I'm going to hand it over to Chef and we'll kind of talk through each of these recipes briefly, and then she'll go through and demonstrate it one by one.
Yep, I think you got it all. We can hand
Okay.
it over just for you guys. I'll also take a screenshot, put it in the chat for you. You can always have it there, just so you know.
Great. Yeah. All right. So over to you, Chef.
Okay, so we're starting with the scalloped potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are making a sauce that is a cashew cream sauce. And so what I do is I cover some raw cashews with some hot boiling water and let them sit for a bit so they soften up. So their cashews tend to be easy to blend, but when you add the hot water, it makes them even softer. And so if you have a Vitamix, that's great, but if you have like a standard regular blender, it also is really easy to blend this up and make a nice creamy sauce. And then we're just going to season it with some garlic and salt. And then we're going to pour it over some sliced potatoes with some fresh thyme. And then you can add some additional seasonings of nutmeg or paprika. And then also we add in a little bit of sliced leek. So we're going to talk a little bit about how do you work with the leek if you're not familiar with it. Or you could change out and just use some sliced onion. So that's one of the dishes we're going to make.
Great. Okay. And I'll look for any questions in that. Otherwise, we will move into the salad dressing recipe you'll be making.
Okay, so along that same lines, we've got some pumpkin seeds that we've poured some hot water over and letting them soak to soften them, soften them as well. And then this is, again, a creamy dressing that lends well to some hearty greens. So I always like to use it with a kale salad or a salad that might have some kale in it. Some cabbage, something in the cruciferous family. So it's pumpkin seeds, water, fresh lemon or lime juice, some light oil. Today I used avocado oil, maple syrup, mustard, salt, and a pinch of cayenne. And then you just blend that together until you have a nice creamy dressing.
That sounds delicious and healthy, and a little pinch of cayenne just to bring up the heat a little bit. But of course, you can always leave that out if you don't like the spice.
Right.
Okay, and then our third recipe today is the pear and dried cherry crisp.
Yes, so that is a recipe. Actually, all of these I've had and have made throughout the years. This pear and I actually had a little bit of apples too, so that was kind of fun. Pear, apples, dried cherry crisp, and what's really nice about this is you add some slivered almonds and coconut, shredded coconut to the topping, so it just kind of changes things up a little bit. And then today I'm going to show just a way to use. I'm using some vegan butter just for the fun of it, or you could use regular butter, but I got some Yoko's butter on sale, so we're just going to be showcasing this today. Okay.
Great. And then I'm going to take down the PowerPoint so we can highlight your screen, and then maybe you want to show the butter one more time and it'll be full screen. Let me just remove this. There you go. Now it should be easier to see.
Perfect.
Miyoko's.
Miyoko's, they're a pretty popular plant-based butter company.
And I think there's a good question. Is vegan butter healthier than dairy butter?
I don't know if it really is.
I know, I was going to say, you know, it's a choice for people who are vegan, and there are people for their health. That's why they're doing it. We have some people in our class here that are trying to go vegan. It's a great lifestyle. This class isn't about saying you have to, but we're trying to give you all the vegetable options. Anything you want to add to that, Heather?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for if somebody's really eating whole food plant-based, they're eliminating dairy products, and so finding some substitutions. The goal, of course, is to go least processed. And so looking at that, we don't want to just, you know, automatically think foods that are vegan, you know, plant animal substitutes, right, are healthy. But in this case, if you're making a dish that normally calls for dairy, this is an optional substitution for that if you're not eating dairy.
Right, you might be in a gathering where somebody doesn't use dairy, so just trying to also be mindful for them. This one, you know, Miyoko's changes out. They've got all different ones that, you know, incarnations. I know that there's like one made with oat milk, but this one actually is made with coconut oil and cashew milk and cashews. So it's kind of a cashewy class here today. And then it's got a little sunflower oil and sunflower lecithin. So it's kind of interesting to see how they combine things and make them tasty. I'm going to put this in the fridge.
Great, thanks for showing that.
Okay. All right, so we're going to, if there's no questions, we'll go ahead and start out with the fruit crisp. We'll start out with dessert first.
Dessert first. Okay, we're ready.
Okay, all right. So what I did right before class was I cut up some pears and apples. And the recipe does say that the pears to be peeled, cored, and cut into half-inch wedges. But my apples were pretty big, and everything seemed kind of big and long, so I cut those wedges in half. So really, it's subjective. You can choose how you want to cut your fruit. I think the biggest thing is to take into consideration that you would probably want most of the fruit to be about the same size. Apples tend to cook a little longer than pears, so they could be a little bigger. And then we will be having that crisp topping cook for at least 30 minutes. So you don't want don't want to dice your fruit unless you want, you know, then it would just kind of break down into a mush. So just kind of take those thoughts into consideration. The recipe does suggest peeled fruit, but you don't have to if you like your pears and apples with the peel on, or you can even like stripe off some of the skin. It's your call. So I've got my chunks of fruit here, and I'm just going to put them in a big bowl. But I'm going to start because it says for this topping, so I just want to show you what I've got together here around the camera. Is I have flour, and then I have brown sugar, and I have cinnamon and nutmeg and salt in this little bowl. And then I have the butter, which I cut into cubes while it was cold, and then I put it in the fridge. This melts pretty quick, so we'll see how that works when I try and cut it in. And then we have the shredded coconut and slivered almonds. And, you know, a good place to find things like this, if you have access to a health market that has a bulk bin, then you can just buy what you need. So all of these things, you can do the cashews, the coconut, the almonds, the cherries could come from the bulk bin, the pumpkin seeds could come from the bulk bin. So sometimes that makes it easier if that's convenient in your neighborhood to stop in at a store like that.
It might be more affordable too to just buy the amount that you need if it's not something you use all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So true. And the other option is like for because I do cashews in other recipes, I buy like there's a big bag at Costco, the raw bag. It's if you were going to use it on a regular basis, or you can work through it. That's a good price point in the long run, but I would suggest keeping it in the freezer or fridge, just so that because of Hawaii's heat, it doesn't, nuts and seeds don't go rancid. It's always nice to keep it cold. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix in the sugar and spices into the flour. So I've got my brown sugar and my spices. What you could do here is, just for the fun of it, you could add cardamom, or you can add a little pinch of cloves. You can change out pumpkin pie spice. You can change that out a little bit if you want. As I go through these recipes, I just want to kind of give you some options as you go along. Okay, and then what I've got here is I've got my butter. It's already getting kind of soft. My vegan butter. And
have you tried the vegan butter? Someone was asking how the flavor is compared to, regular non-salted.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah, I do. The last one I bought, now I don't know if the last one I bought was the cashew-based one, but the last Miyoko's that I bought, I really enjoyed. It's really white though, so it's kind of hard, it throws you off when when you're looking at it. So I'm just going to start this off with some 2 big forks, kind of like serving forks. And then I'm going to get my fingers in there.
And this is the crumble that you're making now? That's the crumble part?
Crumble that goes on the top. So the concept is that you want to incorporate the fat into the flour mixture and have it be kind of like well incorporated. Sometimes they say if it's nice and cold, they call it like pea-sized crumbles. You could process this in a food processor. If you have like a small food processor, that would work too. And then once you get it, you can kind of feel like it's getting worked in. I don't know if you can see, but it's getting kind of crumbly. Sorry, my hand's in the way. I know. Stop.
I can see the change in the texture. Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you. And then once you get the butter incorporated, then you're going to add the coconut shreds and the almond slivers. And then you're just going to, with your hand or a spoon or a fork, just kind of mix that up. Okay, and then that's your topping. And then you're going to take your fruit, and this is also subjective on how much, because you've got fruit, you've got dried cherries, how much sugar, you've got some sugar in the topping, how much you really need or want. You might not want any sweetener at all in this. So I have a fourth to a half a cup in this recipe, but again, and like I'm gonna probably eat mine with some ice cream or something. So it's your call on how much sweetener you can add at this point. So I'm gonna do like half of a fourth a cup, which is 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna add some flour for thickening. And I'm just going to toss it to incorporate, because pears can get really juicy as they cook down.
And so we had a question for you, just quickly while you're doing it. What kind of apples and pears are you using?
Oh boy, that's a very good question. I was at, I bought some last week and they went ripe really fast. So I went to Whole Foods again and I asked the produce employee that was there, and I said, which are the best pears? And he suggested the Bartlett and the Boss. So I got a combination. And then I got, what was the apple? It was called Ambrosia. tasted really good. But generally, I mean, I remember reading years ago in, oh, what was that, Gourmet magazine? They had like an apple issue, and they said that Gala are the best for baking, which I thought was interesting. Which I know Granny Smith are always known for baking too. Some apples like Fuji can tend to get soft and more mealy when you bake them. So there's so many varieties out there. So, but I wouldn't let it stop you if you got a couple extra apples in the fridge. Just use them.
I'm with you. I think it's also, you made a good point. It's always great to ask the produce person what they recommend. What's the good apple? Because I've gotten a lot of great recommendations for things I would never have chosen because I didn't know what it was. So
Yes.
I highly recommend you talk to the produce people.
So what I'm going to do is I have also, I just want to show you, I have that's really messy, put that there. I have a whole nutmeg. So I'm going to grate some nutmeg.
Had one more question about Korean pears. I don't know if those are the ones that stay pretty firm, but asked if you could use Korean pears.
I wouldn't think to. I guess you could. They're kind of, I always think of them as just so delicious, crunchy and cold and refreshing. But I actually have not baked with cream pear, so I'm not a good person to ask in that respect because I haven't done it. I always think of them more like a watermelon, you know, that juicy, you know, thing to eat when you're hot and want to be quenched with that. So I'd have to research it. I'm sorry.
No, that's a great answer. Thanks you guys for your questions.
And where do you get a nutmeg? You bought like a piece of nutmeg?
No, you can get a whole one.
They sell them. Huh. Yeah, the whole nutmeg in like a spice bottle. Yeah, and they last a super long time. Yeah. So if you live on the island of Oahu, the Lion Arboretum has a nutmeg tree, and they sell them. They sell nutmeg in their gift shop, in their tree. Wow, cool. Okay, so I am like totally running out of little pie dishes, and so I'm putting this in a bigger pie plate than I need. And I'm going to sprinkle the topping on. And for the sake of this class, I divvied up, I made two recipes of the scalloped potatoes and the crisp. So I'm putting there was like half the fruit for one recipe. This is a full topping. So I'm just going to do this much topping just visually. I'm going to bake this off. And then I actually watched it because I did it a little bit less fruit. I started watching, I set the timer, it says 350 for 40 minutes, but I checked it at 30 minutes. Really what you want to do is you just want to make sure that your top is, you want your fruit not to be hard, but for 30 minutes, your fruit's going to be cooked. Especially with pears and apples, I don't think that's too much of an issue. 30 to 40 minutes, but just watch your topping, make sure it doesn't burn depending upon what type of oven you're using. There's always little dynamics just with all of our different ovens and kitchens, and like I cook in a small conduction and convection smart oven, so you know, the heat's a little different because it's a smaller space. So just there's some variables there to take into consideration. So I'm gonna put this over here and show you the finished product.
The magic of teams.
Yep. Do you put the dried fruit in there too?
Oh, yeah. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Thank you.
Good catch, Heather.
Yeah.
I see it sitting there. I was like,
it's sitting here right here. Okay, so this is how I do it to make it pretty. I like stick it in underneath. And this is too how much you might want. Now I used the cherries. You could use cranberries. That's always really popular in this recipe. When you see like the comments, I think this came from years ago at Bon Appetit. So I'm just going to show it that way. And then this is the finished product.
Looks good.
There we go. So you see the top is nice and crisp. The almonds
Delicious.
are, yeah, toasty. So,
yeah. You can use craisins too.
Yeah, you can use craisins. Yeah. Thank you for catching my cherry.
I didn't want them to be lonely on the table,
I
so
know,
they want to join the party.
I'll go ahead and pop this in the oven.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions?
I think you got them. Yeah, I think you got them all.
Okay.
Looks good. Might have you pull it a little more towards the sugar so we can have it front and center completely. Perfect. I can't help it. I'm always a producer here. Looks so good. Ready. I feel like we're ready for a good holiday side. And I think it's really nice to really show that's just half, right? So, you know, the idea with these holiday sides, you can put it in a bigger pan, but you can have two smaller ones. Looks terrific.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So
yeah,
if you were double that, right, it's easy to bring to an event or host, you know, if you're hosting, have that as a healthier choice for a dessert.
Could be like in a 9x13 or, you know, good
9x13 pan. Okay.
All right. So we'll move on to, what are we next? Are we scalloped potatoes or are we salad dressing?
Whatever you want.
I'm flexible.
How about the scalloped potatoes? We're at 5:25, almost 5:30, and we can have time for questions at the end.
Okay. All right, so scalloped potatoes. I like to use a mandolin on scalloped potatoes.
And we're always going to emphasize the safety with the mandolin, and it's more not even just using it. I had sometimes if someone else washes it, please make sure to put it back into your case too when you put it back, because then you might grab down. Took my finger many weeks to heal, as I had a little. I'm very sensitive to the mandolin now, but it does make beautiful slices. So highly recommend it. Just be very safe.
Especially for even cooking for something like this, they're all going to be evenly sized, which can be important to the success of the dish. So not a requirement, but it does make it easy. Yeah.
And it makes you look like a pro.
That too.
I found this really cool case. It's called Facebook, but anyways, it fits it. Like, yeah, so you might want to, you know, if you have one.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I've had good luck on finding these at, if anybody ever goes to Savers or a thrift store, people get rid of them.
Oh,
yeah. So these are two of my finds. They're like almost exactly the same. But I heartily agree, you know, don't. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
No rushing, no rushing.
Oh, I know. So what I've got here is I've got my cashews that I've soaked, so they're soft, and I'm going to put them in the blender.
Is there a minimum time to soak, or is it overnight?
Well, you know, if you use hot water, 10 minutes should be fine. You know, but if you know, I've done it overnight too. I've done it all day. You know, they're so soft, and I do have a Vitamix, so it does help things along. I'm going to. It does help if you have kind of a smaller based blender. You know, that's not super wide at the bottom. So this is my smaller cup. Just things to think about catching and blending. And then I have some water. I'm going to start and just see how thick this gets. I've got garlic and salt. And I'm going to do a quick blend, and then we will talk about the rest of the recipe.
Yes. But you're going to have to, there we go. You get exercise when you cook. I like it. Just getting two things in at once.
Getting your steps in.
Oh. All right, so I just wanted to talk again about the mandolin. Yeah, I heartily agree. There's no reason to get anywhere too close. I'm generally between the 2 and 3 gauge. This one is this one is a Martha Stewart collection. I cut my potato in half. It's peeled, and I'm just gonna slice it until I get kind of close. I'm just gonna stop there, even if it's an inch away. It's not worth it. And see, they make wonderful even slices. And I have, you can do a combination. I have russet and I have yellow. You can do all kinds of potatoes. I just like kind of the combination of the two. But
have you tried it with sweet potatoes?
No, I haven't. No, I've done a different recipe where I combine sweet potatoes with Yukon Gold potatoes and mashed them. That was really nice, like a shepherd's pie. But that's a good idea. And Yukon Gold are wonderful potatoes to work with, too. Okay, last one. That's it. So this is my big russet. And this is my Yukon.
And remember, she is a chef. She knows what she's doing. A lot of times these mandolins also come with the little thing you can poke in it and hold it. So, you know, keep those extras. So, yeah, don't be scared of trying new things. Just take your time and enjoy, because it really, look at how beautiful those are and how quickly that came. And think about how long that would have taken to cut.
Yeah, right. And it's so helpful to cook evenly when you have this, a dish like this. So, the leeks, you know, some people don't use leeks that often, or they're just not familiar with leeks. And I actually fell into that category. It took me a long time to get into using leeks. But the one thing about leeks is you want to wash them well, because they have all of these little inner layers. So you want to give them a good rinse, because the soil tends to gather in there. And I usually use about this amount, just the pale green, white, and then going into the dark green stem. If it's too firm, you can break that off, and you can save this for making fresh soup stock. You can freeze that in a Ziploc bag with a whole bunch of veggies, your onions and carrot peelings and celery peelings, and then just make some stock later on. So you just kind of want to see how firm these green leaves are. And then just slice them. And then what I do is I've got some fresh thyme I'm going to use. And I have a bowl that I'm going to bake this in. And I put just a little bit of oil on the bottom. And so now I've got my baking dish. I'm going to do the big ones first. Just going to kind of overlap them, circle, and do about half of them. And then we're going to do sauce.
As you're laying that out, I was going to give a little hint just quickly over on the Big Island. If you can't find thyme in the store, go to Ace in the plant section. They often have them. And a few times when we haven't been able to find the fresh thyme in the store, I've gotten myself a few little plants and they're less than what I would buy at the store. So little hint over here on the Big Island.
Oh, good
Yes,
idea, Allison.
and really in general, I mean, I was going to buy some basil. There was a beautiful basil plant at Foodland, and it was gorgeous. And so I took it up to the counter, and they're like $11.99, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to do $11.99 for basil. But if I had a yard, maybe. I mean, it was a good size. But yeah, going to hardware, plant stores and buying a little plant sometimes is really, really good idea in the long run. Okay, so going back to what I did, so I don't.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I interrupted the flow.
I overlapped half of the potatoes. I poured over half the sauce. I put some fresh thyme. I'm gonna sprinkle on all my sliced leeks. That guy looks a little big. Take him out, and then I'm gonna put in the rest of the potatoes on top. And if you were making this, it just you knew, or even if you're going to a potluck or some sort of party, you could do this part ahead, right? You could do this the day before and just have it and then bake it off. Right
That's
before you
nice.
go.
That is great. So it won't hurt the potatoes to have it soaking
No.
when they're, that's fantastic. That's a great
You
tip.
always got to look for little time savers, right?
Exactly.
Exactly, right? Because you got this part done. It's like, oh, right. All I gotta
Yeah,
do
just have to put it in the oven.
Sure looks pretty.
Yeah.
It really does. Looks like like almost creative. You just get to do art right there while you're cooking.
Well, then you can just put a little paprika or the nutmeg. But I'm choosing paprika just because we did the nutmeg in the other one, even though, But paprika is so pretty. And then at the very end, then I cover it with foil and I bake it for 45 minutes. Then I take it off and then let it brown. You can even do a quick broil if you want it to be really, really pretty. And then you can add a little bit more of these. I'm just going to put these leftover little pieces I have here.
So can you just repeat that so you can cook it? And how long would you take the foil off on broil?
Yeah, well, so it says to bake it for 45 minutes.
Okay.
With foil, and then take it off, take the foil off, and then continue baking it. It's really just because you want to pierce it and make sure that the potatoes are cooked. And if the potatoes are cooked, then you don't necessarily need to do the whole 15 minutes. You can do like a quick broil, right? Just to get it brown. So that's what I did with, let me show you the one that I baked before the class. So this is kind of what you would do before you would cover it with foil.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So pretty. I love the bowl too.
Thank you. And so then finally baked, it's got kind of, it thickens up and the top gets a little browned and crunchy. And yeah, you've got a wonderful little side dish.
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Getting some good ideas for the next potluck or next holiday feast.
And what I like is that cream sauce can be such a good skill to have as a replacement for cream in soups or even other recipes. You can replace it with soaked cashews and blending them instead of heavy cream or things like that.
Right. Okay, so.
Oh, nice, Erin. Got your herbs.
Yeah, making good use of time. I didn't use it that way.
But this is, what's so nice to see is sometimes we get so overwhelmed thinking things take a while. I think it's really key if you kind of get things prepped and enjoy in the process, you can make things really go quickly and enjoy the process, right?
And the right tools, right? I mean, that mandolin saves tons of time versus like that juggling that heavy knife, trying to get the right sizing of the potatoes. I mean, that's worth the investment right there.
Yeah. Again, just, save those extra pieces. I have some from earlier and I put them in like a mayonnaise jar with water, and then you can use those chunks and add it. You could freeze it, but you could also just add it into a soup. I was thinking maybe I'd make a broccoli potato soup later, with some of these.
Great idea.
So, you can repurpose all those little pieces that you're not going to hurt your finger on.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a salad dressing, right? Does anyone have any questions before we move on?
Yeah, take advantage. We have our chef here. If you have anything you want to put in the chat. And then chef, I might just do my little producing and have you push the,
Yeah, I'm
there you go, setting up. Perfect.
Know if I want
Yeah.
their
Blender's good to have when you're ready, however you want to do it.
yeah, I'm not quite sure. I might go in the other room and just might be super noisy if it's right here.
And I think that's also the nice thing is that sometimes what I always love, because I'm one of those people that get scared of cooking sometimes because of all the timing, but like with that potatoes, it's like you have time to clean up in between while it's baking. And I think that's why I like baking, because I can put things away and not feel rushed. But I think the more you prepare in the beginning and then just enjoy the process of it, it makes cooking so much more fun.
So okay, I need the cup and the blender. Oh wow, my kitchen is. I need that cleaning. Okay, so what I did was I soaked the pumpkin seeds. Yeah, and I am going to put them in my blender.
Is the soaking time kind of the same? Like you put some hot water on it and soak it at least 10, 20 minutes?
Yes, sorry. I actually wanted to do a dry run yesterday. It didn't happen just because of family dynamics. It didn't happen. So I had it soaked for a full 24 hours. So yeah, it can't hurt. But I would just suggest do it in some hot water, 10, 15 minutes. You know, it should be fine. But it doesn't hurt to have it just soaking, and you can pop it in the fridge if it's been soaking for, you know, a day, if you want to keep it that way. Seeds and nuts, they last a while they're soaked in water in the fridge. You can take care of that step ahead of time too. So what we've got is our soaked and drained pumpkin seeds. And then I have water and fresh lemon juice in this little pitcher. And I have some light oil and some maple syrup. You wanted to reduce this. What I did was I doubled the recipe just because it's going to be easier to blend. Yeah, if you've got a smaller, that's the only kind of downside of a recipe if you only have a little bit of ingredients, right? Trying to catch it in a blender. So by doubling this recipe, it's calling for half a cup of light oil, which I used avocado oil. You could, if you wanted to substitute it out, like if we have some of the people that are watching are in the no oil classes, you could sub out part of this with, you could put in like a cucumber. That's what I do to bulk it out, like a peeled, seeded cucumber will bulk out a salad dressing. You could also add a little bit of boxed silken tofu instead of some of the oil, and that'll add creaminess and bulk. You can also add part of an avocado. That'd be another thing that you can add in. So just some ideas if you didn't want to do the whole amount. And then we have maple syrup. And we have mustard. I have some Dijon mustard. And a little bit of salt and cayenne. And I'm going to blend this up so it's nice and creamy. Okay, so give me a sec. I'm going to go over here.
As she's getting that done, I love the idea of soaking and using pumpkin seeds because often we get a bag of them and then you just don't know what to use them for,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
think of things for our nuts and our other seeds, but sometimes with pumpkin seeds, you're like, oh, do I just throw them in a salad? How do I use it? So I love the idea
They got
of
lots
putting
of
this in,
zinc.
making
Yeah,
it,
good for the
yeah,
immune
making it
system.
in a salad dressing. Fantastic.
Yeah, and I've only soaked and blended cashews, but I haven't tried the pumpkin seeds, so I'm
I
gonna have to
know.
try that. I'd never thought of that.
Exactly. As she did it, I thought, well, I do have those pumpkin seeds in there that I'm kind of don't know what to do with. So I love
Yeah,
that idea.
I get the ones for the big bag from Costco. They got the sprouted pumpkin seeds.
That's good
Ooh,
too.
Yeah.
okay,
Ooh,
this
look
looks
at
good.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice and creamy.
Gives you a nice creamy.
And then what I did was I put together a kale salad.
Hmm.
So I have a kale and some greens and cucumbers, fresh tomatoes. You could add dried cranberries here. You could add, I've got these little dried chickpeas. Those are kind of fun. You could
Mm.
add some crunch with those little
Instead of
chickpea
croutons,
crumbles.
add
Yeah.
chickpeas.
Great idea. We'll have to have that in our salads class.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a nice, easy way to have a salad dressing that you can just blend up. Get a little bit of, use up those pumpkin seeds. Got a lot of good benefits too, health
Yeah, lots
benefits.
of good fiber in there. Yep.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. And I do love the substitutions you said. I did try a salad dressing with avocado since we had one, and there was no oil in it. And it was that way, so it was avocado and a little lemon juice, a little garlic, and water. And then we
Right.
used dill, and it was beautiful, and you felt so luxurious. And so I highly recommend you guys don't get scared of trying something a little different, right? Thinking, well,
Mm-hmm.
where's the oil? But you never know. Pumpkin seeds, I can't wait to try
Yeah,
that
this looks
tonight.
really good. And then
Yeah,
I'm sure, and then it lasts in the fridge for
Yes,
several days, right?
yes, this is
So,
going to last a while. And then that
mm-hmm.
idea of the dill, the fresh dill in here would be delicious.
Mm,
yes, really
Yeah,
good.
thank you
mm-hmm.
for bringing that up.
Yep. Yep. And when you go to the grocery store nowadays, some of the salad dressings, if you're going to buy them, they're almost $9. When I saw, I was like,
Crazy, yeah.
$9 for salad dressing. I
I
could
know.
buy these ingredients and have, tons of salad dressing
I
on hand just by making it myself. I'm more in control of the ingredients and less preservatives and, other
quality.
things that I can't pronounce in there,
Mhm.
and put it on these beautiful greens. So what a gift. Yeah.
And I think that's all the whole purpose of this class and what Chef Alyssa is trying to show us all, right? Like, look at what you can do with what you have, and there's so much you can make. And what I love is
Mm-hmm.
how much it makes. You really
Yeah.
can make a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
quantity amount.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Can
Great.
you put all the things that you made together in the
And
camera
just so we can see your potatoes and again,
in
Oh,
your
just put
yes.
them
dessert?
all.
All
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
before we change over to just to have one more beautiful look at
Yeah.
all these delicious,
Great holiday sides. So if you've
yes,
got, again, any parties you're going to, potlucks, you're hosting, give one of these a try. Or
yeah,
even
look at
just like
that.
a weeknight. I mean,
A
it's
healthy
getting chillier
dinner.
out, right? We want these kind of warming foods, so those potatoes be fun to try. Mm-hmm.
I hope you're all getting excited about trying
right.
something new, Can you use rainbow chard is that
Oh,
for, I'm assuming, for your salad? Is that
of
the question?
course.
Yes, of
Mm-hmm.
course. Yep. All right, Heather, you're going to have to give a little tickler. Chef, those look beautiful. We really think
Yeah.
that. Thanks for all that. And again, you guys, don't forget, these recipes are in the email that you logged in with tonight. I did put a screenshot. You can scroll back up in the chats if you need to find it there. But you do have these recipes, and we really hope you give them a try.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And feel free to keep chatting in any questions that you have. Alison, you want me to share my
Yes.
presentation again? Okay.
Yeah,
So we will get everybody excited for
exactly. Beautiful. Thank
what's
you, Chef.
next.
Gorgeous.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we got a question. Can you see this, Allison? I want to make sure before I start
Let's
talking, you
see.
guys got it in there.
And if for whatever reason you guys see this little tiny, if you see the PowerPoint as a little tile, all you have to do is click on it and it'll open into the center. If for whatever reason you're like, I don't see it in the center, just click on that and you'll see it. But yes, I do. You're giving a little
Okay.
teaser of our next year's for you guys. This is our last class of the year. So I'm glad you all
Yeah.
joined us. Thank
I
you.
was gonna say, so we take a
Yeah.
break for the month of December so you can focus on all your cooking. And then we will resume back in January. So first class of the year will be January 22nd, same time, 5 to 6 p.m. So typically going to be on the fourth Monday of every month from 5 to 6. And then we will get the rest of the schedule out from there. But again, typically the fourth Monday of every month from 5 to 6 p.m. And we're still formulating our topics. Did we come up with them? We were thinking healthy soups and stews for
Yes, for our
January because, you know, it's kind
January.
of chilly then. It's a good time for soup. So let us know what you think of that. And you
Yeah,
guys,
if
if
you're
there's
wanting to
any
join us.
topics that you're interested in learning that you'd like to see us or see Chef do, feel free to put it in the chat. We'd love to consider it. So if you have a burning question or something you want to know how to make, let us know. And then lastly, if you want some support in making this a lifestyle choice, please engage with one of our wellness coaches. Alice and I are both coaches, and it might be related to, the cooking or the eating. It might also be around reducing stress this time of year or just making sure you're getting your physical activity in. You can partner with a coach. This is free. This is part of your benefits. You get 6 coaching sessions over the telephone. You can schedule them at a time that works for you, Monday through Friday. You can either log into kp.org, go under the appointments tab, and you can book yourself an appointment then. Or you can also call our general number 432-2260. Tell them you want to partner with a coach, and we'll be happy to work with you one-on-one. In addition to that, we've got other classes and programs available to you. We hope you'll take advantage and explore all of them that we have. This is our December class flyer here. We've added some really cool classes. One of them is called Making Peace with Food. That's going to be starting. We've got a new exercise class, or maybe you're just focused more on a specific condition, like diabetes or heart health. We hope that you'll explore these many of them are taught by our registered dietitians or our wellness coaches as well. So I think that's everything. It's amazing with 3 recipes and we still
I
went through
I
know.
right on
love
time
it.
today.
Yeah, now everyone can go give it a
Yeah.
try. So
And I'm going
unless
to
you have
put
a,
a link in
yeah.
the chat to go that takes us to the class flyer so you guys can check that out on your own as well. Oh, there we go. If you can see it, I don't know why
I'm going
it
to
comes
also
in
put in the phone
dark.
number, you guys. You guys probably know it, but the number for our health ed, if you want to sign up again. But we really do, for the people who've been with us throughout the year, we're so glad that you've joined us. Chef Alyssa, it has been a pleasure. We love culinary medicine. It's time to
Yes.
put some of this
Food is
cooking into
medicine.
action. It is medicine, and it gives us so much pleasure. I am excited to go. I really am. I'm going to go try the salad dressing tonight. And then I think the
Good
scalloped
idea.
potatoes are my new
I
side
know.
for the
I'm like really
holidays.
hungry for that.
I
Sounds
know.
good.
Yep. And the
Yeah.
dessert
So
too.
again,
I just have to be good about that. I
opening
ate
it
a
up
lot.
for any questions or comments or again, ideas that you might have that you'd like to see us do. We're open to that. Otherwise, yeah, you got about 5 minutes or so back into your day to help transition to whatever's next. So
Happy
thank you
cooking.
so much for being here. And
Thank
thank you,
you.
Chef Alyssa.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for all the time you put into that baking things ahead of time so that we could see the finished
Yeah,
product.
you're
That
welcome.
was really cool. So
I
we
know.
could
I'd
have
like to
that
grab
visual.
through there, come to your island, give that a try. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah, doesn't
really
it? It does look,
does.
oh no,
She
yeah.
does. She
Oh, good
makes,
idea,
yeah.
Madeline. Kid-friendly
Okay, friendly.
recipes.
That's a great idea.
That
Okay,
is
I'm
a
going to
good
put that
one.
in our notes right now.
Okay, yep,
Got it.
good
Love
one.
that.
Love other ideas you have. Feel free to share them. It's a good one.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Madeline. Yeah.
All
Good.
right.
Anything else? I know I keep wanting to see if they have
I know.
more
As they're
ideas because
coming
that
in.
kid-friendly one is such a good one that we hadn't even thought
Yeah,
about
Yeah.
before.
idea.
And
Yeah.
I will say, Alyssa, that salad dressing that I made, I never thought of avocado with dill. And I didn't even have fresh dill. I used dry and it was
Oh,
really
really?
good. Yeah, I used, because I
Wow.
like was desperate for something and I didn't want any more oils in there. And I'm like, I was going to
Mm.
ask you first, but I did it. See, I'm getting braver and braver. But yeah, sometimes you got to just try.
Great idea.
Oh, good. We got
Yeah.
another topic idea, making
Ooh,
local favorites more healthy.
yes, we do have, that's
Mhm.
good. We have some of those. We'll put that in. That's a great title too.
Yep.
I'm loving
Yep.
it, you guys. Thanks for this. I'm putting it in right now.
Yeah, and even if you have I'd be curious if you have a specific local favorite that you'd like to make healthier. Not guaranteed we can do it, but just to kind of get an idea would be fun.
Yeah.
Do we need to sign up for the new year or we automatically sign up? I think you need to sign up
Yeah,
again,
I
would
would
be
say
my
give it,
guess.
yeah, give it a moment if you can do that in, I don't know if the schedule's all the way out for the year, but we are starting a list. You could always call that number to say you want to be registered in. I'm not sure if we're going to do the same thing next year of registering everyone for the entire year, but at least a few months at a time. So, oh, the ingredients you use, yes, for that salad dressing, it was so good. I took it from, I've shared this with you too, Alyssa, that Love and Lemons.
Oh, I
Um,
like love and lemons.
She's
They're
really,
good.
yeah, and so it's a great one, but I'll give you my kind of roundabout, and this is for me a big, for someone who's so type A to just kind of guesstimate and go, okay, my big, huge avocados, they say a small one, that's the joy of cooking, right? For a baker, you're like, I need exact measurements, but I will put it in right now as much as I can.
Okay. Thanks, Allison. Your great discovery. And I love dill. I buy dill almost every week because I just love it
Can
in
you also,
salads.
can you just verbalize it too, just because I can't see?
Yeah, so one avocado, and again, you just kind of figure out, I have a big one, so I used half, and then you take dill to taste. So it said like a teaspoon, but it depends on if you're using, I was using dry, so I used half as much, as I would with the fresh. And then one clove of garlic, and I just used the mandolin, right? And used it on there and did a raw garlic, and then a quarter cup of water, and then a lemon. It said 3 tablespoons lemon,
Oh,
and that was
simple.
literally it. It was so simple and it was so good. And then I had
Wow.
learned a trick. This was my trick for the people who are still on for salad. When you're about to have it to prepare, put the dressing on the bottom. Like I put the big thing of dressing like right on the bottom, and then I piled my salad on top without stirring or mixing it.
Oh,
And then you have it. I learned this from my German Hanai mom. And then you
yeah.
bring it, and then you can toss it and it's all ready to go. And it really doesn't wilt too much of, the salad. So it was
I never
great to
thought
have
of
it.
that, putting it
Yeah,
on
it's
the
it's
bottom
put it on the bottom of your bowl. And you
and
just kind
then
of
mix
have
it
it.
once you get
And
to where
then
you're
yeah,
going.
and then
And
you
then
don't
you
have
don't
to
have
have
a separate
everything separate.
container.
Yep, you have it and you
Oh,
bring it and it's worked for me. So I'm putting it in. I'm just not a quick typist, so I'll try my
Thank you.
best.
Thank you.
That was our extra bonus. How's that?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never thought about that. That's
hmm
fantastic.
I would have never put those things together, but it's what I had. So, um,
And that's part of the joy is sometimes you just
yeah,
end up working with what you have and you
yeah,
make new discoveries. Yep.
Mhm.
See, I'm going to take this PowerPoint down so we can look back at your food more
yes,
while while
yeah,
Allison's typing. Yeah.
1/4. Yep. And then again, what I noticed when you make this, like if you have extra, you could put a little water, a little more water, play with the
Make it
water.
thinner.
Yeah, to
Right.
thin
Mhm.
1/4 cup water. And so let's see, avocado and then salt, pepper to taste, right? How you want it to taste. So that's at the end. You can add that. That was all it was. So
Hmm.
give it a try. And then I don't know, Chef, if this worked, but when I was done, because a lot of times I think of a lemon as a couple tablespoons. So I had cut an extra lemon and at the end with my dressing that I had left over, I just kind of squirt a little lemon on top of it because to keep it from, getting brown because it's avocado, So I don't know if that's
Mm-hmm.
why I like that. So having a little citrus.
Yeah.
So let me know how it tastes, you guys, if you like it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about going and trying pumpkin seeds. They've been sitting in there for so long, and I didn't know you could soak them.
There you
I feel
go.
like a little
Yeah,
kid at
me either. That's a
Christmas.
new, like I said, that's a new one for me too. I'm gonna try. So
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
yeah.
Hey, any other questions, comments, anybody?
All right. Chef, thank you again for your knowledge, your beautiful
Welcome.
presentation. You elevate us every
Oh,
time, make us want to do this in such a way.
so
And
inspiring.
yes, and Heather, thank you so much. And everyone who
Thank you,
joined us
Allison.
today, great to have
Yeah,
you here. And we will see you in the new year. We really wish you good, healthy, happy holidays and good cooking.
I like that.
Yeah.
Happy,
Bye,
healthy
Allison.
holidays.
Holidays. Yep.
Yep.
Exactly. Bye, you guys. Great to have you. Bye.